I'm sending this message out to all of the open minds that are willing and ready to experience a shift, okay, in their lives. To move from a place of fear to a place of love in order to manifest one's ideal life to become the best version of yourself. So that is what I will be speaking to you about, all about manifesting and why you can either vibrate on the energy of love or on the energy of fear. Okay, if you have tuned in, let me know if you're hearing me loud and clear. Let me know if the visual is perfect, if the audio is perfect, and so on. Let me know. Okay, if you're getting this message and you're hearing me loud and clear. As a matter of fact, before I go any further, let me just take off my shoe. Okay, let me take in some grounding. Okay, get connected. Okay, and when it comes to thing like grounding, it is not a myth. It's real. You see, you are magnetic and you are electrical in nature. And once you get into your electric and your magnetic self, you would know by experience that you're one. You're one with y'all. And you must connect yourself as close as much as knowing that you are one with nature. Okay? So never deny your oneness. That is why you should never live your life based on fear. You must never live your life based on doubt and guilt and shame and judgment and condemnation towards yourself. You have to live from a place of having an open mind. You have to be living from a place whereby you are open minded and that you're willing to learn. But in order for you to learn, you have to unlearn. Okay? And you have to relearn. And then you have to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because whether is it love or fear, it's all coming from the subconscious mind. And so it's very important for you to educate yourself about the subconscious mind and how the subconscious mind really works. And then life will start to make sense to you. Things that have things that are happening in this world will start to make sense to you. Okay, earning more money will start to make sense to you. Becoming rich and prosperous will start to make sense to you. And how to go about having more in your life will start to make sense to you. You start to understand why there are some people on this planet that are multi-millionaires while there are some that live their life as a pauper. There are some people who live their life on this planet and do not know how to make ends meet. They do not know where the next meal is coming from. And they never really sit and think about why they're getting such an outcome in their life, why they're getting such an experience, and how they could experience their life in a different way. Okay, for example, you're told in the book of Mind Science, which is the Bible, okay, that the poor must say that they are rich. It means you must never cultivate a poor mindset, a mindset of lack and scarcity, because it's only a fearful mind that would live in a limited space. It's only a fearful mind will doubt their own capabilities in life and doubt their own potential. There have to be some line form of fear within that person's DNA. And these things through epigenetics can pass down from one generation to another generation to another generation to another generation. So you might find that there's a family where people are very much fearful concerning money. It's so much that they cannot see themselves living in abundance. They just can't see themselves living in prosperity. They only can see themselves struggling. They can only see themselves only making ends meet. They see the world from a perspective of a dog eat dog world. They see the world from a perspective of scarcity, not enough to go around. Water more than flour. That's how they see life. And they never think about flipping the script and see life from a different angle. And this is how self-love comes in. There are people who would live the rest of their life on this planet and never facing the image in the mirror and never realize that the mirror is not the problem. The mirror is only giving them the effect. And so the circumstances they're facing in life, they're just the effect. But when you realize that it is a mirroring or picturing of what is going on within, and you realize that whatever been projected on the outside is a reflection of that which is taking place inside, then you will know that the inside wall is the wall of love and the outside wall is the wall of fear. And so they champion the wall of fear by keeping you vibrating on a low vibration whereby you're kept in the flesh, the place of the five senses. So the things that you see, you touch, you taste, you smell, and so on, you judge everything based on those things. And you never tap into the sixth sense. And when you do not tap into the sixth sense, which is basically your common sense, which is your God sense, the sense for you to articulate and to feel and to be in touch with your telepathic self and be in touch with your psychic self, be in touch with your inside teacher, which we refer to as our intuition. When you're not aware that you're an energy field and you have an energy field around you, you wouldn't become conscious that your brain is like a signal station sending out messages and receiving messages because it is a transmitter and a receiver frequency. Therefore, my brother and my sisters, if you live on the energy of fear, you would never come to the realization that the secret of this universe is built on energy, vibration, and frequency. These are the three things you have to know and master if you're going to live in love. For you to live in loving yourself and believing yourself, trusting your imagination, trusting your intuition, and trusting these words of wisdom that's coming from me to you. You have to accept the fact that you are a vibratory being and you vibrate on certain frequency. Well, lack and scarcity is a certain frequency. Not having enough is a certain frequency. Same thing with having abundance of money. The same thing in having abundance of property. The same thing in having investment in assets. It is the same power. It is the same mind. It is the same tool you have to use. So most people think of love in a wrong way. They have the wrong concept of love. And that is why many people in this world, they look for love instead of they give love. You have to find love within yourself first, which means you have to love yourself. So when you look in the mirror, you cannot see a loser. You have to see a winner. And even if you say you're a winner, Okay, and you believe that you're a winner, but deep in your subconscious mind, you feel like a loser. Deep in your subconscious mind, you carry around feeling of lack and scarcity, feeling of doubt, feeling of guilt, feeling of judgment and shame and condemnation based on your belief system, based on how you were raised, based on the parents that you grew up with and what they would have told you. All these things are influences on your life that would determine whether you're going to learn to believe in yourself or you're going to believe in something outside of yourself. Billions of people on this planet are looking at the outside for the answers of life. Billions of people around the world is blaming an outside enemy. They're blaming a devil, failing to realize that if there's no enemy within, there's no enemy on the outside that could do you any harm. What do I mean by that? I'm saying that everything starts in the mind. Everything is created in the mind. The mind is where the battle takes place. And that is why they use religion and all of these other things to keep you under the energy of fear. Fear will keep you crippled. Fear will keep you bound. Fear will keep you trapped. Fear is like you having your two hands tied together and your 2 feet tied together and you become helpless because your hands and your feet supposed to correlate with your mind to become a thinker and a doer, to become an actor. So that's a good analogy to show you when you do not act, you can't become. And so if you live in this life and you do nothing, you become nothing. And you live for nothing. But if you think that you are extraordinary, if you believe that you are valuable, if you believe that you're responsible for your thoughts and your actions, if you believe that all is mine, if you believe that your mind is your greatest possession, if you believe that your mind is your field of diamond, you believe it is your treasure, if you believe that your mind is the greatest thing on this planet, then you have to start to learn to use your mind to live the life that you want. And there's no way that fear could get you to live the life that you want. And so when we look all around the world, we see most people belief systems have been molded by fear because the system wants you to be fearful even from a child. For example, if you go up in the Caribbean, you go to school. A part of the school program is a religious program that tells you that there is an entity outside of your consciousness, outside of your awareness, and that you must depend on this entity outside of yourself to sustain you, to uplift you, and to help you to become the best version of yourself. And people have been doing exactly as they've been told for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they do not see any change. Yet they want change, they desire change in their life, and they do not question these things. My brothers and my sisters, you have to question everything. And do not attach yourself to any particular thing. You see, if a man join himself to the Seventh-day Adventists, he will become a Seventh-day Adventist. If he join himself to the Mormons, he will become a Mormon. If he join himself to the Jehovah's Witness, he will become a Jehovah's Witness. Why? Because of law. You see, the law of reproduction is that every seed and every species must and will always reproduce after its own kind. And once you understand that, by looking at nature and see every tree always bring forth after its own kind, you would just have to just liken your mind to a garden. Okay? And in a garden you sow seed. Well, in this psychological garden called your mind, you're sowing seed. And with your conscious mind, there's also your subconscious mind. And there is the third dimension, which is the dimension of this physical universe where you can see, taste, touch, and smell. And there is the fourth dimension and beyond, whereby you have to get into the realm of spirit. You have to get into the realm of thoughts. You have to understand your psychological self or your metaphysical self. And you have to go beyond this flesh, okay, beyond this body, and see what lies beyond this body. But it must be done mentally, it must be done psychologically, because everything is taking place in your psyche, your awareness. Okay? That is why, my brother, my sisters, it is imagination that creates reality. Everything that's happening in your life, it is either coming from a place of fear or a place of love. Well, I'm telling you that the more you love yourself and the more you believe in yourself, is the more you'll be able to live a more prosperous life. You become more financially capable. You would be able to attract so many different things in your life, because the law of attraction is real, but it takes action. You have to act on the knowledge that is given to you concerning self. You have to act on the knowledge of how the mind really works. You have to act on the knowledge that everything in this world, it was first a thought, it was first an idea, it was first imagined, and it came from a place of love, not a place of fear. The richest people on this planet, they didn't manifest the things that they manifest from a place of fear. It was from a place of love. It was from a place of a very strong conviction. For example, before a man could break the 4-minute barrier in running, he had to believe in himself. Before a man could break the world record in athletics in 100 meter, and they could call him Lightning Bolt, he had to believe that within himself first. And it wasn't coming from a place of fear, it had to come from a place of love. For you to be a Muhammad Ali, greatest boxer the world ever see, it has to come from a place of love and not from a place of fear. For you to be able to be a Michael Jackson, to dance and to sing and to perform, okay, the way he did, you have to come from a place of a very strong conviction. You believe in the things that you're doing. You believe you found your gift. You believe you were born for this. You believe that this is a part of the meaning of your life on this planet. Well, I'm saying to you, to live a rich and successful life, a very fulfilling life, and understanding that you have to meditate to eradicate poverty, because you understand that poverty has to do with the human psyche. That poverty is mental. Lack and scarcity is mental. Not having enough is mental. Having to live the rest of your life just living from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, that also is mental. Though nothing is wrong with it, but it is also mental. So if you know how to fix it, why won't you fix it if you want to fix it? Because if you're doing a satisfying job that you really love and it's very much fulfilling in your life, you shouldn't leave it. But there are millions of, if not billions of people who are going to jobs that they really do not love, but because they do not know what to do, because they're still living in the realm of fear instead of the realm of love. When you start to love yourself and you start to believe in yourself, and you start to watch the thoughts in your mind, and you start to practice positive thinking, and you start to have positive conversation with yourself, and your self-talk is decent, your self-talk is uplifting, and you're willing to monitor your thoughts for say 90 days, or you're willing to monitor your thoughts for 30 days, you're willing to challenge yourself to monitor your thoughts for that length of time. At the same time, you will be able to develop a certain level of discipline. And when you develop that certain level of discipline, that discipline will start to align you. But from the start, it wouldn't seem like anything is happening. It's like the farmer who saw a seed in the soil and he doesn't see any growth as yet in the first 2 or 3 days. But as he waits, because he knows that once the life or the germ of life is in that seed must bring forth, because it is Allah that wherever life is in the seed, it must bring forth, but it must go through that process of death and burial, and then it reflects itself, it resurrects itself. It's the same thing have to happen to you. You have to die to all of your old limiting beliefs. It's blowing a lot, so I'm just gonna wait for the wind to calm a little bit, then I'm gonna continue. Okay, because it is very important that you take note of this kind of information. It is very important that you learn how your mind really works, how your mind operates. Your mind is not different from money, and money is not different from your mind. Money is mental, and your mind is the source of everything that is mental. Ideas are mental, and your mind is the source of all ideas. So if ideas are mental and money is mental, it means that the mind and money is a reflection of each other. So my brother, my sisters, that's why you have to learn to monitor your mind. Okay, to attract the things that you want to attract in life. And you have to do it from a place of love, not from a place of fear. Okay. The reason why we have so many young men in prison, it is because they do not understand how the mind works. The reason why you have many people join religion looking for change and never could see change, but yet they hold on. It is because it gives them a sense of community. It is because it is bringing them together with people who have like-mindedness. They have the same kind of mind. They have the same kind of perception. Well, the rich have a certain kind of perception, and the poor have a certain kind of perception. The rich see money one way, and the poor see money another way. So the rich see money from a place of love because they see it as a tool. They see it as a part of themselves, knowing that it is currency, knowing that it is thought frequency, knowing that it's energy. And they see money from an energetical standpoint, not from a physical standpoint. So they don't chase it. Okay? They realize that they are the real value. And money is only a reflection of your value. So if you have valuable information, you tell yourself that your information is valuable, you're not going to hold it to yourself. You're not going to keep it to yourself. You're not going to be like the man with one talent who bury his talent. No, you're going to be like the one who have 5 talents and he go and he sell and he gain another 5. Or the man with the 10 and he go and he gain another 10. Because you understand what it means when it says that a wise man will always leave an inheritance. For who? For children. Well, this information that I'm giving to you is for you and your children. So if you refuse it, if you take it lightly, if you say, I know that, and when you say that, it's intellectual knowing, you never live the life. You see, in our society, people don't need to speak, because their life speak for them. So I could look at your life and I could know how you thinking, because I could look at the outcome of your life. Some people cannot believe the fact that even their monthly salary is a reflection of their psyche, their mentality, their mind. They don't want to take on the responsibility to believe that. They rather point fingers. They rather have a devil to blame because they're vibrating under the energy of fear. So, my brother, my sisters, fear is crippling. And that's why we're living in a crippled generation. That's controlled by fear. From the north, the south, the east, the west. And that is the news right there. News. North, east, west, and south. That's the word news. N-E-W-S. News. All these things is to distract you from knowing the power of loving yourself. You can't love yourself if you didn't discover yourself. You have to discover yourself. And this is not the self of you. This is only an out picturing of that which is within. Which means you have two non-physical hands. You have two non-physical ears. You have two non-physical eyes. You have a non-physical nose. You have non-physical fingers and toes and legs. But you have to use them. And you have to use them under the energy of love to create the feeling. Because in the non-physical world, we operate on feeling, not on speaking. So all the people going to church and praying to some God on the outside and yapping. And waiting for the thing to calm down. The wind is blowing very heavy right now. So I'm just waiting for the wind to settle a little bit. And to continue. There are people who've been going on their knees for 10 years, for 15 years, begging and beseeching for some entity to act on their behalf. And if they get a result, they're going to praise that entity and say it is that entity that give it to them. But what about you? If you've been taught a way to go inwardly and appropriate that whatsoever you desire is already your reality, and it worked for you, you know what you did, and you understand why it works. No one can tell you otherwise. Because the person will go on their knees and pray and beg. If they do not get the thing that they desire, they would say it wasn't the will of God. But when you understand metaphysics, and you understand how the mind works, and you understand how electrical and how magnetic you are, when you understand thought frequency, how it works, when you understand that your brain is a transmitter and a receiver of frequency, and you are a vibratory being, when you understand life from that standpoint, you know how you get the things that you get in your life. Therefore, you don't beg and you don't beseech, and you don't look on the outside for any entity to save you or to deliver you. You start to understand that self-realization is the key, and it is the only form of salvation, because you're here searching for yourself, and that's why love is the key. You have to start loving yourself. You have to start believing in yourself. You have to start using your mind to give you the things that you want in life. If you will go before the mirror each day and look at yourself and say, I love you, I love you, I love you, first it will feel strange. Okay. Then after you continue doing it and using repetition, and but for a month, you going before the mirror and say, I love you. Then after that, you start to build your confidence that you could go in front of the mirror and you can say, I am a millionaire. And you can say, I am a millionaire for 90 days in front of the mirror. It will sound stupid. You might feel foolish. It might look foolish to you going in front of a mirror and saying that you're a millionaire. Okay? But if you do it constantly, what happens is that your subconscious mind do not know. Your subconscious mind do not know the difference between truth and lie. Because your subconscious mind only deals with feeling. So if you could impress your subconscious mind that you're rich, that you're prosperous, that you have X and X amount of money, okay, that you're a millionaire, and you send out that millionaire vibe, because your subconscious mind is impartial, because your subconscious mind will give you back whatsoever you impress upon it. And it have to run in continuity with the law of reproduction, that every seed and every species must and will all reproduce after its own kind. And that your mind is bringing back that of its own kind, because it's a garden. Okay? Once you see what I am saying by experience, you would realize it is because of self-discipline and self-mastery. You would realize it is because you have hold yourself responsible for your thoughts and your action. And you was able to monitor your mind for a length of time. You was able to watch your thoughts, okay, for a length of time. Some people just live their life haphazardly, and they just allow their mind to run wild all over the place. And they never really learn to track things that happen with their mind. That's why they do not know it is their own mind that is creating their experiences in life. And so many people, they blame politicians, they blame preachers, they blame the economy, they blame the rich, and they speak ill about the rich. And they will never become rich speaking against the rich. It will never happen. How would you become rich if you want to speak against the rich? How are you going to become prosperous if you're going to speak against those who prosper? It is because they're doing something that you're not doing. It is because they know something that you're supposed to know and act upon. And even though you might know it intellectually, you never act upon it. So it never become your experience. So you never become educated, because to educate means to draw out from. And the only thing that you could really draw out from is really basically your experiences. Your experiences will always be your greatest reminder and teacher. And so when I look at my experience many years ago, I remember myself and another brother, we wanted a new vehicle for our church. At that time we were involved in church. And we were claiming a new vehicle. But we believed that there was an outside entity. So we was calling on that outside entity to give us the new vehicle. Okay? And so a series of events took place. And the new vehicle that came to us. But because of lack of understanding, I thought it was this entity that I talk to or pray to or reach out to that grant me this desire. But I didn't realize that I was actually using a science. And that is why many religious people, they swear to you that they pray, they do this, they do that, and they get the result. But it's because they do not know that they are working with a certain law. It is because they do not know that they are using a certain science. If you learn the science of mind, you can appropriate your life whichever way you want it to be. You will understand that as a man thinketh, so is he. Because your mind is what is creating your experiences. It is what is creating your reality. Everything on this planet came from a thought. Even your existence here, you having this human experience, you're a thought evolved being. You realize that your mother and your father, they had a thought, they had a burning desire, and they act out that burning desire through the physical act of sex. Well, the physical act of sex is to show you that there's a psychological act of sex and there's a spiritual act of sex. Because sex is sacred energy exchange. You're exchanging an energy. And you normally inhale and exhale. You're crossing energy. So if you do not know how to cross energy to create your reality consciously, you live your life here on this planet in fear instead of living your life in love. And to live in love, you have to live life individually. And which means you have to think individualistically, if there's such a word. You have to think as an individual. You can't think like the masses. You can't follow the crowd. You have to lead and guide yourself based on your consciousness, based on your awareness. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to know if you deserve more in life than what is happening. So, for example, if your bank account is making you feel bad, then you know that you need to fix your bank account. If your lifestyle is making you feel bad, then you know you need to fix your lifestyle. Well, there must be the tools for fixing it. It's like you have a radio or you have a television, and something goes wrong with that television or something goes wrong with that radio. You have to get the ideal tools to open that radio or open that television and take a good look at it to see what is the problem. Well, it's the same thing based on how much you are manifesting in this world. What your salary look like? How much are you saving a month? How much are you saving a year? What assets do you have? How much investment do you have? Some people live all of their life on this planet and they invest in nothing at all. Because why? They're struggling. And the reason why they're struggling is because of their belief system. It is because of their mind. It is something that's happening mentally. And it is coming from a place of what? Fear, not a place of love. So many people are living in fear and they do not know that they're living in fear. Many people do not know that their belief system is keeping them under the energy of fear. It is impossible for you to be religious and superstitious and you are not living under the energy of fear. It is impossible. That is why every man has been given a choice. Life or death. In the power of the tongue lies the power of life and the power of death. You have the power in your tongue to speak life or to speak death. Most people living in debt. They're indebted to the banks and the credit unions. And that's why when they call upon to take a experimental drug in their body, many of them have to take the inoculation and many of them have to take the vaccination because they didn't know how to deal with the lack and scarcity that they was facing in their life because they do not understand money and they do not know how to attract it. They do not understand their own inner economy and their own inner ecology, and they do not know how to balance their own economy. So they become slave to money, yet they have a religious and a superstitious mentality. Yet they have the answers for life. So my brother and my sisters, do not follow the masses and live in fear. Most people are afraid of the unknown. That is why religion chops so many. But money answers all things. A man who cannot take care of his household is worse off than an infidel. A man who cannot leave an inheritance for his children is a fool. Not me say so. The very Bible says that. The man who do not leave an inheritance for his children. The Bible says he's a fool. He says he's dumb. He says he's ignorant. Ignorant and dumb of what? Creating. They don't know how to create. That's why they cannot create opportunity for the next generation, which means they do not know God. They do not know their higher self. They do not know the source of creation. And they do not know how to create. Why? Because they lack accountability for their thoughts and their action. They don't want to believe that it is their mind. They believe there's some outside enemy. And they prefer to blame an outside enemy. Many people use the devil as a crutch to hide from their own self. Do you realize that your own self-talk is what is creating your experiences in life? What are you saying to yourself when you're with yourself? What are you speaking to yourself every day? If you speak lack and scarcity, if you speak judgment, okay, and you're living in fear, you can even go to bed and dream of that. If you're thinking about hell and heaven, you would even dream about hell and heaven. If you're just thinking about God and the devil, you would even dream about God and the devil. Because why? All of that will become your reality because it's happening in your psyche. It is taking place inwardly. It is the picture that you're beholding of yourself. That is why as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's why your heart is not speaking about organ in your body. It is speaking about the place of consciousness, the place of awareness. So where you live from the invisible, it must reflect in the visible. You can't fool no one but yourself. It doesn't matter which God you call upon. You're still naked. Because what? Thoughts become things. We know who you are by the life you live. Don't make no one fool you. You can never plant pumpkin and reap watermelon. All wise men from since the dawn of time knows, okay, that whatsoever you sow, that also shall you reap. That is why though men differ on many different things, philosophers, wise men, religious men, all different kind of men all around the world, one thing they're in unanimous decision with, and it is that we become what we think about most of the time. Whatsoever you sow, that also shall you reap. It's the same thing. They're telling you the same one thing over and over and over. Why? Because there's one universal consciousness and there's one universal power. And it is the power of your mind. As you sow, so shall you reap. You have to think like a millionaire to become a millionaire. You have to think like a multi-millionaire to become a multi-millionaire. And you cannot become a millionaire, multi-millionaire, thinking unfair and living in doubt and guilt and shame and judgment and condemnation towards yourself or towards the world because you do not understand the world. Most religious people do not understand the world, speak against themselves and do not even know that they are speaking against themselves because when they speak against others, they fail to realize that who they think is someone different to themselves. It's just another version of themselves. There's a rich version of yourself. There's a poor version of yourself. There's a superstitious version of yourself. There's a weak version of yourself. There's a strong version of yourself. There's an eloquent version of yourself. There's a dumb version of yourself. Which version are you choosing to express on this planet? Most people are choosing the wrong thing. Most people choosing their limited self instead of choosing the limitless self. There's a part of me that is limitless. That part of me that is limitless don't sleep. And they say God don't sleep. So that part of me is my God self. I call it the Jima in man. And when the Jima awakes and he tell his sleeping brothers, they say no, he's crazy. They say, no, he have lost his mind. That's the story of Plato allegory. If you never read a book, go check out the allegory of the Plato allegory of the cave. Plato's Allegory of the Cave. That's a very good book, Plato Allegory of the Cave. You see how when you awake and you can see life from a different angle, and you tell your brothers and sisters who are not seeing life from that angle, they're going to hold on to what the cave have to offer to them. And that is most people lifestyle. That's how most people live on this planet. But my brother, my sisters, you have to learn to embrace change. Do something different. You never practice meditation, start to meditate. You never read a book on meditation, go get my book, Meditate to Eradicate Poverty. I would teach that till the day I die, to meditate to eradicate poverty. But on the other hand, I grew up and was told to educate, to go to school and get good grades. And that will get rid of poverty. When you go to school and you get education, it will provide you a job. But it is not a guarantee that you're going to escape poverty. But when you find your mentality, you find your psyche, and you realize that it is your own thoughts that creates your reality and creates your personality, and you start to hold yourself responsible for your mind, and you start to chop the thoughts in your mind, you start to write down the thoughts that are in your mind, and you start to study the thoughts in your mind, you start to do exercises using your mind, you start to practice meditation, you start to practice visualization, you reach out and you get yourself a mentor like myself. You book a one-on-one with someone like myself, and you do a one-on-one, and for the very first time in your life, you learn to invest in yourself. And you say, man, I'm going to invest in myself. I want to become the best version of myself. I want a little bit more information from this man. I want to go deeper down the rabbit hole. I want to learn more about the mind and how the mind really works. I would definitely like to use my mind to live a better version of myself. And you act in that. And you never give money more value than yourself. You know what is hindering a lot of people? They put more value and money than on themselves. If someone has something that I believe is valuable, I would easily pay 1,000 US dollars if they're charging 1,000 US dollars for that. I remember a man was offering something on the internet for 1,000 US dollars, information and so on. Okay. And I was willing to pay him $1,000 to get some information. Okay, because why? I wasn't putting value on the money than on myself. I believe that I would always have myself. But the money can go and it can come, but the self you always have with you. And so I trust my intuition and I believe in my intuition. And I never regret, because I learn a lot from just doing that. Though later on the person was exposed as a grifter, a scammer on the internet. Okay? Because basically a lot of the things that he was offering, you could have just go on the internet and get it and so on. And he was mostly more like a fast hope. Okay, you had to go through so much different links that he had set up that he call what do you call them again? I'll tell you what you call them. And there's a lot of people normally do these things on the internet, okay, and call them funnels. So be aware that these people are offering a lot of things and they're telling you about this funnel and this funnel and this funnel and this funnel. Okay, they're gonna funnel everything from you. But in the process, learn something. That's why I normally encourage most people to work, to learn, instead of work to earn. Because you see, if you work to learn, that work might be a way to bring you to otherwise your purpose, what they call it in life. So you'll be able to vibrate on the energy of love instead of the energy of fear. Okay? So my brother, my sister, start by loving yourself and believing in yourself. So if you really love yourself, you start to meditate. If you really love yourself, you start to practice visualization. If you really love yourself, you start to go before the mirror and speak the best thing that you can speak in the mirror to yourself. I love you. 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 And watch yourself in the mirror. till you start to really fall in love with yourself and really love yourself. Till you start to realize that when you used to go in the mirror before, was to criticize yourself, was to find a fault in yourself. Most people think the mirror is to just themselves and to see how good they look in the mirror. You realize that you normally use the mirror to judge yourself? Everybody who goes in the mirror, why you go into a mirror? Most people go into the mirror and look into the mirror to assess themselves, to judge themselves, to have an impression of themselves. And what is the impression that you have about yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror? Have you ever looked yourself in the mirror and say, I deserve better. I deserve to have more than this. I deserve to have more in my bank account. I deserve to drive a better vehicle than this. I deserve to live in a better neighborhood than this. I deserve to live in a bigger home than this. I deserve to be more prosperous. I deserve to be more wealthy. I deserve to have more money. I am deserving of everything that I desire in this world. Because I'm one with the all. I'm one with everything. I'm one with the entire universe. There's no separation. That's why there should be no fear. There should only be love. Okay, that's why you're supposed to love in your neighbor as you would love yourself. Because everything starts with self-love. If you don't love yourself, you can't love your neighbor. Okay? And most people who do not love money because they don't love themselves because you are money. You can look yourself in the mirror and say, I am money. I am money. I am money. When I say I am money, I mean that I am energy. And money is energy. I am one with money. So why should I have lack and scarcity? I am one with money. So why should I ever live in poverty and lack and scarcity? Why should I ever live in mediocrity? I mean, I'm supposed to live in an abundance and vibrate on an abundance frequency. When I walk into the supermarket, I walk into the supermarket with an abundance energy and frequency. And I vibrate on that energy in the supermarket, in the grocery, everywhere I go. Money must follow me because money is energy and I am energy. And my mentality is what is creating my personality. It is what is creating my experiences. And I want to share this knowledge with the rest of the world. All is mine. All is mental. Money is mental. All riches is mental, and you're born with all of your mental faculties on this planet. Redeem yourself by first learning to love yourself and believe in yourself. Okay? And meditate. Eradicate poverty. I think I have the book right here with me. Meditate to eradicate poverty. And learn also that your mood is your fortune. I have the book here too. And I love the book. I love the cover of this book. With this smiley face right here. Your mood. You see the smile? Yes, man. You could never be living in a mindset of lack and scarcity and smile and be smiling like that. You could never be living in the mindset of lack and scarcity and be happy. Nah, you feel unhappy. Look at the universe. Look at nature. And you see nature always speaking to you. Nature always telling you what to do. Just be like me. That's all nature is saying. Just be like me. I always bring food bountifully. Oh my. My brother and my sisters. This message I found you to help you to become the best version of yourself. That's why you all are so few. Because straight is the way and narrow is the gate that leadeth to life. But broad is the way that leadeth toward destruction. The masses believe a lie. But I'm saying you can believe the truth. That you are God. That's something that you can experience. God is just the avatar. body is not you. Your body is the house, it's the temple. You really use non-physical. You really use not metaphysical being. You are a metaphysical being. Yes, you are beyond the physical. That's why the essence that can speak, taste, touch, smell, do all of these things. When that essence leave, this body is taken on into the cemetery. It's humus. It goes back to the earth. But the consciousness, the awareness, the intelligence, it lives on. Okay, so why not use this knowledge to live the best version of yourself, to attract more money in your life, and to live a more fulfilled and prosperous life? You can travel to wherever you want to travel in the world. You can have a job that are giving you 6 or 7 figures, even 8 figures. If you want to attract 8 figures, you want to attract 9 figures. How much figures you want to attract? You have to be definite about it. If you want to be a multi-millionaire, you have to be definite about it. And you have to speak it, and believe it. And speaking it doesn't mean you have to be speaking it audibly, as well as you can speak it audibly. But even if you speak it audibly and deep within, you still carrying in your subconscious mind a feeling of lack and scarcity, then you can attract it. That's why we who know how to attract money and attract other things in our lives, we know that we do it effortlessly. Some people put forth too much effort. I do it effortlessly. I do it smiling and contented and happy already. I don't have to see it to be happy. I don't have to have it to be happy. I do not have to have $1 million in the bank to be a millionaire. No, you just have to have the feeling, and you keep cultivating the feeling. And it would be established in this physical 3-dimensional world. It would become a hard and objective fact. I could bet my life on it. I could bet my life on it. The problem with most people is that they're not disciplined. The problem with most people is that they lack self-mastery. Some people are not disciplined enough to spend 30 minutes with themselves. You know what I do daily? I walk daily to spend time with myself, so I could contemplate, so I could practice self-talk, so I can meditate, so I can visualize. I do affirmation daily because I know that my subconscious mind do not know the difference. I know that my subconscious mind is not my reasoning mind. My conscious mind is my reasoning mind. But I know that my subconscious mind is not my reasoning mind. So my subconscious mind don't reason. My subconscious mind not gonna say, you only have 6 figures in the bank and you say you have 7. No, my subconscious mind not gonna say that. So if I say I have 7 figures, I have 8. If I see myself making a bunch of investment in things that will benefit me in the long run, I have to see it, I have to believe it, and continue to see it, and continue to believe it, and continue to see it, and continue to believe it. We will never be able to access the telephone if someone wasn't able to see it and believe it, and see it and believe it in their mind's eye. We will not be able to have access to the automobile, the aeroplane, the internet, all these things, if there wasn't people who are willing to believe in themselves and love themselves and hold to the fact that their wish is the command to the higher self, and that they must and will get the result. My brother and my sisters, as I come to a close here, smiling all the way. I'm smiling because I know this walk. It worked for me and it could work for you. I know when I change my mind, I change the trajectory of my life. And I know that you can do the same. And I know that one of the biggest stumbling blocks that was in my way was my belief system. The way I was brought up. my religious and superstitious beliefs, my limiting beliefs, my doubt, my fear, my guilt, my shame, my judgment, my condemnation. All of that I call fear energy. The energy of fear. And if you grow up in the Caribbean, you grow up in Africa, you grow up in some third world country, I am telling you, it is because of the fear energy why they call third world country. You're not a third class citizen of this planet. You are first class because you have mind and speech. You have an intelligence that's beyond the cheese and the animals and everything else. Money come from tree. Okay? Everything in this world that we need to survive, you realize that you can perceive it in your mind. And if you can perceive it and you understand that wherever your attention go, energy will flow. You know that you have to become more attentive. You have to become more appreciative. You have to become more understanding. You have to become more patient. And you have to learn to invest in yourself. And you have to learn to challenge yourself. If you could challenge yourself for 14 days, if you can challenge yourself for 21 days, you have to challenge yourself to monitor your mind for a certain amount of time, or you will never know that fear has been destroying your life and that you do not have even an ounce of love for yourself. It takes practice, 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 practice for you to prove what I am saying. So, my brother, my sisters, the world is yours for the taking. It's just that you have to know what you want. And you have to have enough belief in yourself. Remove all of the doubt, remove all of the fear. Religion is what is causing you to be so fearful. Okay, get rid of that belief system. Okay, and unlearn, relearn, and reprogram your subconscious mind to become the best version of yourself. Greatness is right before you, but you're not seeing it. You've been blinded. But there's a version of you that is rich. There's a version of you that is prosperous. Start to work on that version. Okay, so let me, before I come to closer to you, feel free to get Your Mood is a Fortune. That's my book, Your Mood is a Fortune. Also, feel free to purchase The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, a very good book. Also, you could purchase the Game of Life and How to Play it by Scoville Shin. These writers, they've been teaching what I'm teaching you. And The Game of Life is like 100 years old book. I have that book. Okay. I have it right here in my bag. I think I have it right here in my bag. Okay. Game of Life. Yeah. The Game of Life and How to Play it by Scoville Shin. These are tools that you need to have to sharpen your mind. Okay, and to keep you reminded. Someone says grounding is very powerful. Yes. Practice grounding every day. Someone say, what's up, brother? I'm good. Someone says, good talk. You're most welcome. Okay, someone says, greetings. And someone says, that's true. I had a dream and I felt that energy I was cultivating. Then someone says, same person says, my subconscious placed me in a situation. I was manifesting it. Wasn't the same setting, but same energy. Okay. Then someone says here, I've noticed how the system encourages victimhood, yes, and grievance mentality for us Africans. Yeah, we are propagandized to operate from a place of fear and doubt. And that is well said, and I really appreciate that comment. Okay, if you study the way how, like for example, there's a book that has been written around 1933 by a man named Carter G. Woodson called The Miseducation of the Negro. How can show you how black people have been miseducated. And what this brother comment here, okay, and what it states concerning that we've been encouraged to hold on to victimhood and live in a grievance mentality, which is basically like a backward way of thinking and believing. It's quite true, because that's why secular Christianity has been given to us. That's why most of our people believe in a devil outside of themselves. They believe in a hell outside of themselves. And they believe some savior is going to come to save them. But money is what answers all things. And in this world that we live in, it all boils down to economy. It all boils down to money. Money runs things on this planet, nothing else. Doesn't matter how just you try to be. Doesn't matter how good you try to be. If you're poor, you'll be treated a certain way. And if you have it all, you'll be treated a certain way. And if I have to choose between having it and don't have it, I would always want to have it. There's a better feeling when you can help other people. You will feel so good when you could provide a job for 10 of your brothers and sisters, 20 of your brothers and sisters, 100 of your brothers and sisters. You feel very much fulfilling when you could provide for your brothers and your sisters. As a melanated person, if I could provide jobs for thousands of my brothers and my sisters, it would be a great accomplishment to me. I'd rather do that more than give them a check and preach some sort of so-called gospel to them. I'd rather help them. I'll teach them how they can help themselves. And that's what I'm doing here, teaching you how you can help yourself. Okay, I don't want to give you a fish, I want to teach you how to fish. Someone says here, just for sake of it, the best way to manifest things is to first seek the kingdom of heaven, which means is to be casual. Okay, and then seek first. You will then find then all these things will be added. First, because know that you are He. Therefore, what you decree will be put in order for that to be. You must become He. Yeah. If you do not see yourself as the creator, the operator, and the destroyer, if you do not see yourself as the cause, okay, you'll never understand how this thing works. You have to know that you are the one behind everything. You have to know that you are the cause. Someone say, got all your books, even ebooks, which I read at work on my downtime. LOL. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate the support. And my encouragement to you is to do exactly as been stated in those books. Especially Meditate, Eradicate Poverty, where every chapter I give you something to do. You do them. And one of the good things about having books around you is that you can always go back to those books and you can always see an exercise and you always do that exercise. You see, sometimes people give up too easily. When I started using my mind to manifest things for me, okay, when I started, I never stopped. And I started to use it for very, very simple things. Not the big things, the very small, small things. I started to use my mind to have favors be done to me. Like, for example, if I was to go to the customs to clear something, okay, and I do not want to pay like the custom duty, and I don't want to pay it very, 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 very high, I could then go into visualization and see things working in my favor, and it will work out that way. It's not that I would be doing an exercise to get it totally free, but I'll be doing an exercise whereby I'll be paying less money. And so I might go there, and when I go there, it's someone who knows me. Custom officer knows me, asks me how I doing and so on and all of that. And he will charge me, but he might not charge me as high as someone who didn't know me might have charged me. You know, I've seen situations whereby the usual person who used to be there, when I go there after I use my exercise, the usual person wasn't there and was someone who I know. You understand? And then I have a favor done to me. And then you take that lightly and you think, well, that would have happened that way anyway. But no, when you really understand how the mind works and you understand your magnetic self and your electrical self, and you start to practice, and then you have hundreds of, of events that would have taken place in your life along that line, then you know it's not anything happening by guess. Then start to understand, okay, that we're living in a simulation. You understand that all is mind. You start to understand these things by what? By experience. Someone says here, it's never enough to go after the things of this world. Lord Solomon, he asked for wisdom instead of things. And because he did this, the awakened awareness within him give him riches too. Seek first. Let me put that comment straight. Okay. Basically, when you seek to know who you are first, okay, which is stated in Matthew 6:33. He says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things would be added unto you. Most people read that, but they never read Luke 17:21. Luke 17:21 says, don't let no man tell you, lo here, lo there, for the kingdom of God is within you. So it is saying, when you look within yourself to find the kingdom of God, you'll never find the kingdom of riches, the kingdom where all things are possible to you. And so that's how you will have the knowledge to have all these things added onto you. It is teaching you the law of attraction, how you're going to attract and bring things into your reality, and you're going to do it consciously. You become a conscious and a deliberate creator. That is what that is teaching you right there. But you have to understand that the Bible is a book of mind science. You have to understand that it is actually a magic book and you're a magician. You have to understand your magical self is your miraculous self. So miracles and magic is not two different things. And you have to understand that everything you've been doing in your life is a ritual. You're going to church is a ritual. You're reading the Bible is a ritual. All these things are rituals. That's why you can't live under fear. So religion and all these things will keep you under fear. That's why people don't manifest the ideal life. Someone say my bad because it was a typo. Oh, casual. Okay. Someone said that same person say big up. Okay. So my brother, my sisters, the only difference between the rich and the poor on this planet is because the poor is vibrating under energy of fear, while the rich is vibrating under energy of love. And I'm telling you, the number one thing that they use to keep you under the energy of fear on this planet is religious ideology. As for me, who grew up in the Caribbean, that is what they use. And that is what colonialism used. Okay, they play the psyche from a very young age and make you vibrate under that energy of fear. And it's very crippling. It's destroying a lot of people all around the world. Okay, someone says the same in America. Yes, all around the world. They make you carry around a victim mentality. That's why you have to go in the mirror and break the curse by loving yourself. Use your mirror as a tool to set you free. Speak love to yourself, and then when you could speak love to yourself, I start to feel even much better about yourself. Then start to speak how you want to see your life. You want to be a millionaire, speak millionaire in the mirror. You want to earn more than $100,000 a year, you speak it in the mirror. And you look at yourself and you believe. You believe. So my brother and my sister, get rid of the victim mentality. Okay? And live under the energy of love. Okay? Live under the energy of abundance and prosperity. Okay? So I'm going to go on another live on my Black Mad Guru channel. I definitely encourage you to follow me there. Also, I would encourage you to like, to subscribe, okay, to share these videos. It's very good for the algorithm, okay? I want to be able to do more of these kind of teachings, but I'm looking for your input. You can comment, you can tell me things you would like for me to speak on. And also make sure that you put what I am saying to practice in your life. I'm looking forward for testimonials. I'm looking forward for people, telling me how much this teaching have really helped them. So I could go much more deeper into these teachings. I want to see people living a more fulfilled life. I want to see people having more in their life. Okay, because it's been happening in my life and it feels good. And I want you to know that you have to cultivate the good feeling first to attract those things. People think if they attract more money in their life, they'll attract a better feeling. No. It's if you attract a better feeling in your life, you create a better feel. Because I'm talking about magnetic and energetic field. You have to create a field. And that field, which is magnetic and electrical, that field that is over about, say, 20 feet around you on the outside that you're sending out to the ether, this is where you have to understand the inside life is a reflection of the outside life. If you start to think like a millionaire, act like a millionaire, you start to get connected to millionaires in one way or the next. You start to find yourself ending up in situations that are going to put you with people who are millionaires. You might find yourself joining certain things that are putting you in the same alignment with millionaires. Doing the same thing like them. Reading the books they read. Going the places they go. Putting interest in the things that they put interest into. And the universe will open up these different doors and opportunities for you to do so. Okay? Someone said if you want to understand the world, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. That Nikola Tesla. And that is so true. I could tell you from my own experience, my own awakening experience, that everything based on energy, vibration, and frequency. I am a mass of energy. And I vibrate on frequency. And that's why alchemy is what I've been teaching you all along. Take that energy and transmute that energy. But it's been done through action. You have to take actions. Okay, that's why my brother, my sisters, there's nothing for you to lose to take action by hiring someone like myself for a one-on-one, for mentorship. You know what I mean? For us to discuss a book. You could read a book and we could go through the book and I could explain it and break it down for you and show you the same thing. All these New York Times bestsellers, all of these people in these areas who write all of these different books, they're saying the same thing. And you see many of them, their lives they live in. Many of them are multi-millionaires. Many of them, they sold millions and millions of copies of their books and so on. It all was done in mind. Someone say, when in Rome, go back home. Someone say, I invite you to my channel. It's totally new, but good stuff. I don't have a problem with collab. If somebody want to collab with me, then we collab. Okay, send me an email and we can collab. That's how you're supposed to do it. Okay? We collab. Unity is strength. That's how it is. Okay, many YouTubers, normally collab with other YouTubers and so on. And so you might do a session on their channel and then you do another session on your channel. I would like for people to ask me questions, okay, about the Bible. I like for people to ask me to explain certain things in the Bible for them, and how it pertains towards manifesting, how it pertains towards helping them living a better life, how it pertains towards them attracting more money in their life. Okay? These are the things I want to talk to people about. Right now, I am on a frequency whereby I just want to educate the people more about money and wealth and abundance and prosperity. Okay? So reach out, and we could definitely collab. Okay, you could just drop, you could send me an email. Okay, so yeah, before I close, because definitely gonna come to a closing now, I wanna encourage you to support my work. I have a PayPal, you can support me there. I have I offer one-on-one. Okay, I offer mentorship. I have books on Amazon that you can purchase. I have gratitude journals and Amazon you can purchase and just to get you into that place of discipline to write an affirmation every day. And I already would have written, I'm so happy and grateful now. You just have to put in the rest what you're happy and you're grateful for, and you just write it out in morning, noon, and night. You read it, especially at night before you go to bed. You read it about 9 times. Okay, saturate your mind with it. Last night I got to bed and I was just thinking a certain thought over and 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 over. Because I understand how the mind works. Because I know that's how they program you in religion. I know that's the same how they program in school. I see the power of repetition. I see all of these things. Okay, I realize if you train up a child a certain way, when they grow older, it's very hard for them to depart from it and all of that. I understand that definitely is truth about the subconscious mind. And there's power in the subconscious mind. Okay, someone say no, not true, not energy, vibration. These are the effects, not the cause. If you want to understand the universe, understand mind, it is casual. Someone say I have a little small pocketbook that I walk around with in my pocket. Very powerful. Okay, conscious programming. Yeah, all of that is conscious programming. Okay, most people have unconscious programming happening to them. Okay, because fear normally keep you blind and crippled, and you cannot see that you're actually living your life, living in just survival mode. Most people can't really see it. Okay, but those of us who can see, we know how to script our life. Okay, to become the best version of ourselves. Someone say I am already collaborating. That's why I am here, brother. Okay. So yeah, there's a difference. There's a difference when two channel collab. So I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, whether we do a Zoom or whatever, we do a teaching together, a Zoom whereby you like probably you ask me question and answer and so on and all of that. But it's a way to get to teach and reach out to people. Okay, and then vice versa. So it could be for your channel, that one could go on your channel and one can go on my channel. That's kind of collaboration I'm talking about. Okay. Someone said that would be nice. Okay. Yeah. These are the kind of collaboration I want to do. I want to do things with people of like-mindedness. Okay, people have the same mind. So my brother, my sisters, go follow me on my next live and my Black Mad Guru YouTube channel and continue to support the work. Okay, I'll definitely see you another time and another live. But get over to Black Mad Guru channel and give me a follow there. So with that being said, my brother, my sisters, I just want to say peace. Love you all. Out. for